Hello, jet setters. I'm Jeb Brooks with greenergrass.com. Today I'm in Shanghai. I need to make my way to Frankfurt. Now, I could fly direct, but I've already done that. So instead, I'm flying with Vietnam Airlines. My first time flying with them. The first leg is in an A350. The second, a 787, a Dreamliner. This is going to be a pretty epic and pretty long trip. So let's get checked in and get started.
Vietnam Airlines is a member of the SkyTeam Alliance. Business class passengers receive access to the China Eastern Lounge in Shanghai. That lounge offers somewhat limited food and drinks, plenty of seating, and sweeping views of both the terminal and the ramp, which is great because Pudong is full of interesting aircraft. I was excited to see Delta Airlines A330 Neo taxiing out since that was the exact plane that brought me to Shanghai the day before. I also caught a glimpse of an airline I'd be flying soon. By the way, if you like aviation and travel, I hope you'll subscribe and ring the notification bell so you can be among the first to know when I post new videos.
Is it just me? I mean, I'm pretty jet lagged, so does that A350 look like an A321? Looks like we've got an equipment swap, but hopefully everything goes according to plan with a 787 on to Frankfurt tonight.
Now, I'm so grateful to have these opportunities and to get to share them with you. I make these videos to help you decide whether these airlines are ones you'd like to fly. This is, at the end of the day, a review channel, so please don't mistake criticism for a lack of gratitude. The A321 business class cabin is laid out in the same way that many U.S. airlines would arrange their domestic first class cabins. There are 3 versions of the A321 in Vietnam's fleet. This particular aircraft had only 8 seats in a 2-2 configuration. There were 7 of us here in business class. The seat itself is pretty comfortable, and I had no trouble grabbing some shut-eye shortly after takeoff. Vietnam offers a whopping 45 inches of pitch in seats that are 21 inches wide. That wide center console includes controls for the in-flight entertainment and a small storage cubby, perfect for a phone. Now, when I glanced out the window, I was sorry to see that the flight to Hanoi was still being served by an A350. According to the cabin manager, who was extremely apologetic for the change, there'd been a mechanical problem which took our A350 out of service. And speaking of it, service certainly didn't suffer on the smaller aircraft. This crew were fantastic. As boarding proceeded, a pre-departure beverage was offered. I chose a glass of apple juice. The person in front of me made sure I didn't forget she was there. In-flight entertainment on this A321 was limited to videos about Vietnam on the single screen at the front of the cabin. I was happy to have brought my own iPad. The food on this 4-hour, 40-minute flight was very nice, with an appetizer, bread, and a very tasty main course. The approach into Ho Chi Minh City was stunning. I truly wish I'd had more than 4 hours to spend here. I'll definitely be coming back.
Hello from Ho Chi Minh City. That was a pretty big disappointment, if I'm honest. I was really looking forward to the A350. It's my favorite airplane by far, but that said, it was still a great flight. I really just needed to get some rest, which I did. Now I'm going to head to the lounge and get ready for the 787, the long flight all the way through to Frankfurt in just a few hours. So let's go hang out in the lounge.
I chose to connect through Ho Chi Minh City instead of Hanoi because the photos online of the lounge looked better here. It was nice enough, but I'm sorry to say the photographer just did a pretty good job of making a mediocre lounge look incredible. I did enjoy a shower and a bit of plane spotting, though. I had no idea Latam flew to Vietnam.
Well, that's it for the lounge. Let's head down and board.
The 787 that would carry us 12 hours to Europe was recovering from a nose job. Even though we missed out on the A350, it's worth noting that the cabin configurations and seat designs are similar for Vietnam on their A350s and their 787s. They both have the same bland design and lack of color, I'm sorry to say. My seat, 6K, was located toward the back of the single business class cabin. The seat includes a light, a remote for the touchscreen in-flight entertainment, headphone, USB jacks, seat adjustments, that love it or hate it 787 window, a nice bright screen for the IFE, additional storage, a universal plug, plenty of reading material. There's also a very nice storage area here beside the window. There's also another storage area right here, along with an armrest, which has to be lowered during taxi, takeoff, and landing. I was glad to see Vietnam included gaspers or air vents in this aircraft. That extra air can make all the difference, particularly on the ground. The crew on this flight were magnificent. They delivered a much appreciated hot towel and glass of champagne shortly after I'd settled in. There was also a small blanket and pillow at the seat. They soon came by to offer newspapers, which I passed on. I did accept the nice amenity kit they presented. And subscribers already know what I thought of these headphones, which provided no noise-canceling technology. I was very happy with the slippers. The crew also offered to put the mattress cover on the seat prior to pushing back. I thought this was very nice, especially for a flight leaving as late as we did. This one nearly midnight. The in-flight entertainment was presented on a beautiful, crisp screen. Hollywood options were a bit limited, which is understandable given the fact this airline doesn't serve the United States yet. The moving map was beautiful and provided plenty of entertainment for me. The tray table was large enough to work or eat, but not both, and thanks to the shelf in the seat, though, it really wasn't too hard to get work done even while eating, which is great in a business class seat. The food is where Vietnam Airlines shined brightest. I chose the local options, which were flavorful and approachable, even for my Western palate. It's also worth noting it's possible to get out of the seat even while eating, thanks to that movable armrest. And I did. After dinner, I took a walk through the cabin. The economy class cabin on this 787 has 211 seats in a 333 configuration with 32 inches of pitch and 18 inches of width. There's also a premium economy cabin with 35 seats in a 232 configuration. They've got 38 inches of pitch and the same 18 inches of width. The business class cabin is laid out in a 1-2-1 configuration that's 42 inches of pitch and 21 inches of width. The middle seats are, of course, best for couples. But at that point, it was time for me to head to bed in that fully flat seat. And after 5 hours, I woke up over Kazakhstan. After that nap, the crew jumped the chance to bring me a midnight snack of open-faced sandwiches. And after a movie or two, it was time for breakfast. Again, I chose the local option, which I was so happy about. I'm sorry, but I really don't like these windows. Here's a time lapse of the opening. Brutal. To be fair, though, it's hard to do better than that wing view, huh? I rate my international business and first-class flights on an admittedly biased rating scale that I jokingly call the JebScore. I rate 5 categories: the lounge, the seat, the in-flight entertainment, the food, and the service. In this case, I'm going to focus on the 787 since it's more representative of what you'll see on a long-haul flight with Vietnam Airlines. First, the lounge. It was mediocre. The food was okay, it had a shower, which was great, and the seating was limited. This is 3 stars out of a possible 5. Second, the seat. It's what I'd call a pretty typical business class seat. There was storage, it was built to do work, it was comfortable, it laid flat, but average is average, so that's 3 stars here. Third, the in-flight entertainment. The screen was bright, crisp, responsive. The options were interesting and appropriate to their route network. That's 4 stars out of a possible 5. The food, it was great. I really liked trying the local option, especially when leaving from an airline's hub, and this was a fantastic choice because Vietnam Airlines did it so well. 5 stars here. Finally, the service. Wow! This crew was great. They were responsive, always available, proactive, happy to help. This is a 5-star crew all day long. So that leaves Vietnam with 20 stars out of a possible 25. But what do you think? Leave a comment with your thoughts, and as always, between now and the next time,
See you in the sky.